There are some videos that I genuinely dread recording sometimes, I'm going to be honest. And there are some that I just can't wait to do. And this is certainly one of them. Brighton Hove Albion 1, West Ham 3. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, does it? Especially coming off the back of a brilliant win over Chelsea with the same scoreline last week. Obviously at London Stadium, which was a brilliant win. But to maintain our unbeaten start to the league in style like that at Brighton was remarkable. I genuinely, honestly, it's one of them moments, isn't it, that I don't think many would have predicted this for a start of the season. When I did the videos a little while ago, I was talking about the opening 2 fixtures being quite favourable. I thought, well, Bournemouth's a pretty decent game for us. We've got a good record there, and I felt that was an opportunity to get a win. We didn't. We got the draw. And looking back at it, really probably should have got the win, and we did say at the time. So, but then to go on and beat Chelsea and then go and beat Brighton at Brighton, you know, be 3-0 up was remarkable. Really brilliant, isn't it? Weekend of football this is for West Ham. But before we go into all that, let's just talk about the game itself then. So started well. I think West Ham, you know, really looked lively. And to be honest with you, that's how I expected us to be. I thought we'd go into a bit of confidence. We'd be up for it. We'd give them a game. Brighton, of course, are just such a good side, well organised. And they're so dominant. They're such a dominant side. And I think the way that West Ham was set up, like we did against Chelsea, to absorb that pressure, which we're just so good at, and then being, so crucial and unforgiving on the counter. That's how you're going to beat teams like this. And wow, I mean, talk about getting it spot on. And it came to fruition, didn't it? Even before the 20-minute mark, James Ward-Prowse getting his first goal for the club. Another outstanding performance for him. We'll come to the performances in a minute. One of those this week where I could give man of the match to about 7 or 8 players. It was just unbelievable. But yeah, it was a great start to the game for us. We were 1-0 up. Brilliant work from Mikel Antonio for the opening goal. Turns his player lovely on the left-hand side, cuts in across, and basically Ward-Prowse just has this commanding run. He just knows where the ball's going to end up. And sort of Antonio anticipates the run. He's waiting for him to arrive, squares it, and then Ward-Prowse goes to hit it first time, but he's actually sort of parried or blocked, and then it just sort of falls to him again, and he tucks it away to give West Ham a lead. And it was deserved, really, really good, deserved opening goal. I mean, the thing is with this, and there's going to be a few pundits, etc., and even like the media that are sort of highlighting it, going, "Oh, West Ham only." I think when we scored, I think we had 18% possession, something like that, really low. And it was almost like other people are mocking us for it, going, "Oh, well, look at West Ham. You know, they're winning, but they're not." But the thing, that's how we operate. That is the style that David Moyes plays. Don't get me wrong; it's hard to watch at times. It's not pleasant because all you seem to be doing is watching a team attack you and and all we are is holding on. But the thing is, what we are good at is then once we get possession, is then we utilise it really well. And we've got the quality there to do that. And that's exactly what we did. And as I say, the opening goal was excellent. The second interesting part of the game was the injury then to Thomas Souček. So a lovely ball's come in. I think it was a Ward-Prowse free kick. He's whipped it in. And Souček's gone for the ball like he does. And I've got to say, before I go into this, I've got to say, Souček looking the Thomas Souček of old, isn't he? Like, really seems to be, I don't know, the shackles are off now. The Declan Rice has now left the club, and it's great to see him back playing that way, in that role. It just suits him better. Anyway, he goes in for a header. There's nothing wrong with it. The keeper's got to come for the ball, and it just collides with the player, absolutely clatters into him. And Souček had to go off. I'm guessing it was I haven't heard anything about it as yet, but it appears it would have been a concussion protocol because he went straight down the tunnel. So. But he appeared to be okay. You know, he was walking off, he was talking and things. So I don't think it's anything too serious, but he was taken off. And I've got to be honest, at that point, I felt that this could be a problem now because that was the way that we were set up, this diamond formation, which was, by the way, very, very good for David Moyes. A very, very interesting lineup, and the way that we were set up, it worked very well. Because you had Paqueta sort of playing more towards the left, Souček playing more advanced. Then you had Ward-Prowse and Alvarez sort of playing them in the more central positions. But it was, Souček came off, and then Benrahma, interestingly, came on. I was expecting Fornals, to be honest, at this point, but no, Benrahma came on. We're going to get back to the video really shortly, but I just want to let you know this video is actually sponsored by NordVPN. Now, NordVPN are a private network that allow you as a fan to watch games from the comfort of your own home. You can change the region that you're in. It also allows you to watch films, TV shows, things like that. Now, the other big thing is it's also on travel costs. So being West Ham, where you're in Europe again, and also you might want to go on holiday, but you can also save some money on your flights, on your hotels, things like that. It's really worth it. And look, for the monthly subscription, okay, it's less than a pint or a coffee a month. Now, if you go to the link below and using nordvpn.com/West Ham Way, you get 4 months free, completely free. And also after that, you get a 30-day money back guarantee. So just click on the link, go on it, give it a try, see what you think. Anyway, that's the video. And I've got to admit, my doubts started to creep in a little bit then. I think this is going to cock up our game plan a little bit. And I don't know how Benrahma would suit this. And I've got to be honest, I haven't been overly impressed with Benrahma this season so far. I thought he struggled, especially against Chelsea. It just seems to be decision-making has been a bit off. But credit where it's due, he was excellent. And we didn't miss a beat. We carried on and it worked really well, the system. Went into half-time, 1-0 up. You know, with 1-0, especially being away from home against a side like Brighton at this point, you know, top of the league, etc. Such a great start they've made. You do feel that, yeah, this game could turn easy though. If they get one back, then we're going to be backs to the wall, clinging on for a point here. That's how I kind of thought it could play out. But no, second half we came out, and I've got to say, I actually thought we were better second half. We just looked so dangerous, like really lethal every time we got the ball. Like this ruthless energy about us, and our conviction of play was just there, wasn't it? And it was so great to see. And I think the thing is that what played into our hands is that Brighton play this kind of fast pace, game where they put you under massive amounts of pressure. And the reason they can do that is just because if we come out and really try and push for a goal, they can pick you apart. And don't get me wrong, it would probably make a very entertaining game for a neutral. But West Ham we were resolute. We went, no, we were going to stay firm. We're going to play well organised, because let's be honest, Brighton just really struggled to break us down. And up to this point, I'm talking, they really were struggling, and you could see that they're committing more, desperately trying to get that equaliser. And then once we were in possession, we were just picking them out, and we were always looking so lethal. And then it was 13 minutes then into the second half that we then got our second goal. And I've got to be honest, it was one of the best goals. Well, certainly I'd say the best goal so far this season. It was an outstanding counter-attack from West Ham. Basically, we had Antonio picked up the ball in our half on the left-hand side, and he's turned to put this lovely ball down the line to Saeed Benrahma. Benrahma picks up the ball, and at this point, he's kind of the only man up there. And then you see Ward-Prowse sort of trying to catch up with play, and then Jarrod Bowen is just absolutely bombing down the pitch. And you can see Benrahma's watching the run. He's waiting for Bowen, and he's just basically holding up play, just waiting for the right time to put this ball in. And my word, he gets it absolutely spot on. He whips in a beautiful ball with his right boot, just curls it in to the path of Bowen. And I've got to be honest, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but if Lionel Messi had scored this, it would have been all over social media today going, wow, what a lovely bit of control and goal. It was that lovely. Do you know what I mean? He brought this ball down with his left boot, Bowen, in such a stunning while bearing in mind he's running at full pelt here, brings it down in one touch and then flicks it with his left boot past the goalkeeper into the bottom corner. And an exceptionally brilliant goal, and fully deserved. And that moment of total, like, here we go, we've got a cushion. And this is the moment then when you think we can win this game. We can really go and win this now. There's a real belief that this is our day. And then it was just, was it 5 minutes later? That I think it was. Hang on, what was it? Yeah, 5 minutes later. Well, it was party time. It really was. I mean, I was going crazy. I couldn't believe I was watching. Mikel Antonio makes it 3-0. Very similar to the goal at Chelsea, actually. Very, very, very similar. So, again, lovely build-up play from West Ham. Jarrod Bowen gets it is on the right-hand wing. He gets the ball. He turns around and he puts in a beautiful ball over the top to Antonio, straight to him. And Antonio, you know what he does? He's just, when he's on it, Antonio, like he has been so far this season, he's unplayable at times. He's just such a talent. You think if he was in that form, for 80% of his time, he would be like one of the top strikers in the Premier League. I mean, at the moment, he is at the moment. There's no doubt about it. He's just, if he was like that all the time, he'd be incredible. I mean, because he was outstanding again yesterday. So anyway, he gets this ball from Bowen. He kind of does like a dummy turn. He twists his defender, throws him off, and then again just unleashes this right boot shot. And and hits it right across goal. No chance for the keeper. Absolutely just smashes in the bottom corner. 3-0 West Ham. At this point, we're 63 minutes on the clock, so we've still got a long way to go, especially with this long and added on time. I'm always now in my mind adding another 10 minutes on, just to sort of give myself that cushion. So I'm thinking, my word, we've still got a long way to go here yet. But we're 3 up. I mean, let's be honest, at this point, you're thinking it's going to be a disaster for us to throw this away. And bear in mind, we've been so well drilled. It's not as if we're riding our luck. But fair play to Brighton, I will say, because they didn't throw the towel in. They didn't go, because, if there are some teams that probably would have done. I thought, well, that's just not our day. We're not going to bother. But they didn't. They kept trying desperately to get back in the game. And they did get a goal back. I think it was on the 81st minute. I think it was. 81st. It was Groves that scored it. Good goal, actually. Pretty decent. He gets the ball on the edge of the area, turns one of our defenders and just sort of shoots. It goes through about 6 or 7 people, but it hits it well, and a low shot into the bottom corner to give them a bit of hope. And of course, sending some nerves through West Ham a little bit, but not really. I mean, I think it was a very good goal. I think if they'd have got that second, they would have, then it would have been a problem, but it didn't come. And I've got to say, it didn't come because, one, because we're well organised, but two, Areola. I mean, what a performance from him. He pulled off, I think it was 2 or 3 very good saves in the last sort of 10 minutes of the game to keep us going. Because I think if they'd got that second, it really would have been a very nervy ending. But no, we were very, very well organised. And to be honest, actually saying that, I'm kind of jumping a little bit there, because Antonio could and should have made it. Got another one for West Ham. He came through. He went 1-on-1 with the keeper. It was all bouncing, and he just tried to put it into sort of the higher part of the goal. But and the keeper sort of clattered him. Actually, I put a bit of. I don't know if it was really nasty, but he definitely sort of showed. Antonio was sort of jumping, and he sort of caught him, and then Antonio flipped over. But anyway, nothing came of it. But yeah, it was a moment that really it could have been another goal, and even Antonio alluded to it in his post-match interview that he thinks he should have scored that goal, should have scored there anyway. But it is what it was, and game finished 3-1. Who cares? It was an amazing day for West Ham. I'm absolutely buzzing. I can't believe the start we've made this season. It's one of those. I was going to say the first 2 games optimistic, but Brighton away, you never, especially as West Ham, that is since 2017, since they first arrived in the Premier League, that we've now beaten Brighton. So it's been a long time coming. And the fact is they went into that game in very good form. It was always going to be a very hard day, but to come away 3-1 winners is amazing. I'll go on to a couple of bits in a minute, but I'll tell you, I want to quickly do man of the match then. So I was doing the top 3. This was really hard, really difficult. Now, I really haven't seen any sort of man of the match things. I haven't seen any polls or anything on the West Ham Way Patreon or anything. So I've just done this off my own back, and it was quite difficult, as I say. So number 3, I've gone for Areola, who I think, let's be honest, there were so many contenders for number 1. I've really struggled with this. So there's going to be so many people that criticise me. I'd like to know your top 3. So please let me know what you think. And obviously let me know of mine if I'm absolutely atrocious. But I've gone for Areola at 3. I thought he was excellent once again, really cementing himself as our number 1 goalkeeper. It's almost as if, because he's been given that number 1 jersey now, metaphorically, that it's given him that confidence. He seems to be just a better goalkeeper all of a sudden. He's really performing well and consistently well. So yeah, I gave him the number 3 spot, the bronze medal. Silver goes at number 2 to Jared Bowen. Again, he just seems to be back in that form. That Jared Bowen form that got him into the England squad. He just looks so good at the moment. As I say, that second goal, it was a remarkable goal. And as I say, if it had been a more of a high-profile player, I think that would be all over social media today. I really do. I think it's just because of, I'm not going to go into all that, but you know what I'm saying. I think Jared Bowen's goal was exceptionally good. And yeah, great to see him, and great to see him go back in form. And with contract talks obviously ongoing, we're going to come to doing a video of that soon, which appears to be going pretty well. Hopefully that'll be concluded soon. So it's just, he seems to be so settled, doesn't he? I'm so happy at West Ham, and yeah, long may it continue. Really, really pleased for him. Number 1, I mean, my word, who do you give man of the match to in a game like that? There was so many great performances, but I'm going to go for Mikel Antonio. He was just excellent. When he's on it, it's just, he is a joy to watch. He looks fit, strong. He was bullying them. He scored goal. He could have had 2 goals. He was just excellent. He got an assist. What more can you want? What more can you want from a player that's been knocking on the door in terms of an exit from this football club for quite a while? Last season, January, wasn't it? There was rumours he wanted to go. All this summer, we've had it rumoured he wants to go, and he's looking at Saudi, he was looking at Wolves and all this. But he has started the season in blistering form, and you've got to kind of ask yourself, if you were working around a club now, he doesn't need to go anywhere. I'd say, this is the best you're playing. You just do not need it. This is an exciting time for this club at the moment in terms of this season, and yeah, certainly a player we can't afford to lose anyway, can we? He's just too good, Antonio, at the moment. He's playing so well, and I'm giving him the man of the match for that. And a massive credit needs to go as well to Mr. David Moyes. I mean, my word, he gets his fair bit of criticism, even from me. I get criticism from people on here saying, you're quick to back him now. Look, you can only go with where you are at the time, can't you? You can't. I've always wanted to try and be fair and honest, but at the end of the day, when things have gone badly and things aren't looking good, especially behind the scenes, I've been very concerned about with David Moyes. But you've got to then pat him on the back when it's due, and fair play to him, because he got yesterday completely spot on. We were so well organised. So he got the game plan absolutely spot on. He dealt with Brighton's tactics completely correctly. Brighton really struggled. They really struggled to deal with West Ham. It wasn't their day. They knew. You consider the key players as well. They got around that pitch and they just weren't involved. And West Ham just dealt with them well, organised all game. And so difficult to break down and just so lethal. And it has to go back to David Moyes, because he's got that spot on. And what's so lovely to see from David Moyes, it's like, we talked about this in the summer, that I said, if you're going to stick with David Moyes, then you have to use David Moyes' tactics. There's no point getting David Moyes as a manager and going, right, go and try and play a different game then, David. Let's play more possession-based football. Let's try and play like Pep. You're not going to do it. So you're best off just playing the tactics that work, that he understands, and he understands the counter-attack system. It's what's worked for us. It's what won us the Conference League trophy. It's what got us 6th. It's what got us in the Europa League. It's what got us 7th. And it's what's kept us up. That's the system that works. And like Jared Bowen said it, why would we want to change if we're doing something that works so well? And it's almost like, thank God, because that's what nearly relegated us last season, was this obsession to try and change, do something completely different. It just didn't work. And this season, it's like we've just gone back to David Moyes football. Look, it is not easy to watch sometimes. If it doesn't work, it's very frustrating, because you're watching the team hold the ball a lot of the game. And, as a fan, that's quite hard to deal with, because you feel like you're always under the cosh. But when you get it right, i.e., you're fine having the ball, but you're just not letting them have many chances, and you're very well organised. And then when you get possession, you just go, because that's exciting to watch, isn't it? Watching a good counter-attack. And we got it spot on, and I'm just really, really pleased for him. And I've got to say this, I actually feel, and this is going to sound, I don't want to sound sort of bitter and like a sort of bitter ex, but because it's going to sound a little bit like that. But you look at West Ham so far this season, and bear in mind it's only 3 games in, so I'm not getting too carried away, but we just seem like there's a real better team ethic this season. There seems like a real bond. There's no egos. And yes, that is a slight dig at Declan Rice in a way, but not having a go at him as a person, because Declan Rice clearly, well, we knew he wanted to move. That was one thing, but he's always had this kind of, it felt like last season we're accommodating what he wanted to do. He wanted to be more advanced. He wanted to be more, pushing up the pitch to get him. And because of his ability and the fact he was captain, quite a big voice, I think that we had to accommodate that. It does feel like the shackles are off a little bit this season. Like the team now have got, like, rather than having, say, an ego, we don't seem to have any. You look around that team and there doesn't seem to be egos. There doesn't seem to be anyone that's desperate to be the number one, or it seems like a team that are working so well together. It's working so hard. And you dare I say it, you do feel like, do we miss that Declan Rice? And, would you have said that a few weeks ago? Would I have said that? No, I wouldn't. I was dreading. I was nervous for this season, thinking, oh my word, how is our midfield going to operate? How are we going to cope? But the players you brought in, Edson Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse into that midfield, is just, it's made us better. We look a stronger side. And as I say, that kind of team feel is there now. You're starting to look at this and thinking, this team, we look like a happy bunch of players that are fighting for each other. They're enjoying their football, and it's wonderful to see. And it gives, do you know what? It has the feelings at the moment of the season we finished 6th, the Jesse Lingard season. We'll talk about Lingard again in another video, because that's another one that's quite interesting. But I mean, what a time for him to rejoin, because it's got that vibe about it, that COVID year, the feeling of, we just seem to be playing well. We're playing very good, lethal counter-attacking football, and we're attacking sides and beating them. And you're starting to feel like, you know what, you're looking at fixtures now, aren't you? Thinking, get something there. And it's a good feeling, really good. I'm very, very pleased. And of course, as I recall this, I mean, it's not going to last long, but let's enjoy it while it lasts. West Ham, top of the Premier League. Yes, it's only 3 games in, and you're going to get other fans go, oh yeah, look at you getting. Who cares? Let's enjoy it, eh? You know what I mean? If you consider what it was like last season, we lost to Man City, we lost to Nottingham Forest the first 2 games. We were rock bottom. We never recovered. We were down the bottom all season, and it's the polar opposite this season. I've always said, I think after between 8 and 10 games of the season played, it usually gives you a bit of a picture of where you're going to be finishing or what your season's going to be like. And I know we're only 3 in, but you start looking at the fixtures now thinking, well, I think we can get some points there. I think we can beat them. And you think, do you know what? If we can be in the sort of top 6 by 8 to 10 games in, then we are looking at a very good season here coming up, I think. And I'm absolutely thrilled about that. I am, and I'm sure you all are as well. Really looking forward to seeing your comments on this, because I've got to be honest, I'm really impressed with the comments we get on this channel. It's been such a positive. I mean, I get the odd bit of criticism and stuff. I don't mind it. I quite, it's good to actually get a bit of feedback and other people's views. So I don't feel like it bothers me that much, but also it's really a good community. I like the fact we've got a real feel good factor at the moment. So yeah, do leave your comments and let me know what you think about your man of the match and everything. And of course, before I wrap this up, we're going now to a really exciting day, and well, it's a couple of days and weekend of football coming up as well, because Mohamed Kudus, I think, is going to happen very shortly. I think that's now almost done, and we're going to do a video on that very soon. And on top of that, Luton away next on Friday night. And I mean, you've got to fancy West Ham, haven't you, at the moment? You've really got to. It's probably the perfect game for us in a way. It's going to be tough. I'm not trying to write Luton off at all, but you do think that is a game. Bearing in mind as well, I think about that game, and I'll do a match preview before it, and obviously a bit more detail. But you look at that match and think, being their first Premier League home game, they're going to come out, they're going to attack, they're going to want to win. That just suits West Ham. It really does. With these tactics, it just works. So I'm really, really pleased and looking forward to that. And what an opportunity for us to add more points on the board, because it really would be massive, wouldn't it? In fact, we're playing Friday night as well before everybody else. It'd be lovely to start the weekend on a big positive note. So, yeah, I mean, no, I'm not getting carried away. I'm not going to get too carried away. I'm not going to start dreaming of big successes this season. We're 3 games in. It's a long, long way to go. But what a start. What a start. And yeah, let's just enjoy this.